anyone see the photo of Arnie riding one of the public Melbourne bikes?
Yeah.
Without the helmet on.
Yeah, without a helmet on, down Elizabeth Street or fucking wherever it was.
I thought you were allowed to ride those bikes without a helmet.
No. I think they're just happy for anyone to ride those bikes.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they got that desperate that they actually started shutting down lanes in the city and made them designated bike lanes. And the thing is, they're trying to like decongest the city. So what they do, just take away some lanes, put some fucking bikes in there. That'll speed everyone up.
That'll work for the 3 cyclists that use it.
Because everyone who drives in the city, it just does because it's convenient.
Yeah, exactly.
They fucking need to or anything.
And I mean, the best thing you want to do in Melbourne is ride a fucking bike, because I mean, it could be sunny when you buy the bike, but by the time you're around the block, you're pissing down rain.
Yeah, it's beautiful weather, always to ride in.
Yeah, it's just a system that's never going to work in Melbourne, because you never know what the weather's going to be.
It'd be awesome in Brunswick, though.
With Arnie, did they get to the bottom of it? Because I was sure that they either made it that you didn't have to wear a helmet for those things, or they were talking about it just because nobody was riding them.
No, you totally do, and they normally come with helmets now. Like the ones right in the city, you can get the helmet in the nearest 7-Eleven. It's like a $10 deposit or some shit. Other ones, they just have them stuck on there. Like the ones on near Amy Park.
Yeah.
They have actual helmets in like a little basket.
Swan Street and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I reckon there's this one dude who's found a little niche business hanging out the front of these bike stands going, no, you must buy the helmet. Hear that?
It didn't work.
Pretty gutsy cop to pull Arnie over and tell him to wear a helmet. Although, as if you'd really want to make a John Connor reference if you did that.
I was going to say, have you seen this boy?
I'm going to say, you bet if you pulled up in the wrong spot, you get a parking ticket from some cunt.
Yeah, it'd be cheaper. So, yeah, he was in town for the Arnold Classic, and you got to say hello?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Had lunch and a dinner with him. Funny thing was, the lunch was a sponsor's lunch kind of thing, so it was a, don't bother the bloke kind of event.
Yeah.
And one bloke, he came up and thought, no, fuck that, rules don't apply to me, and asked Arnie to sign something or other.
Had he had a few?
No, it was a dry event, which was the disappointing part. Like, the beverages list was water, which sucked ass.
As per Mrs. Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Mrs. Schwarzenegger somewhere else, he was there with his girlfriend. But
Mrs. Schwarzenegger for today?
Well, she can do what she wants, I guess. No, she was actually quite nice. But, this bloke came up and just asked Arnie to sign something, and Arnie tore strips off him.
Really?
Like, he was there, he had his hat on, he's like, I can't do the voice through it. It was like,
just give it
what
a go.
are you doing? You have your hat on inside, you've got food in your teeth and on your shirt, you need to go home and think about what you're doing. Leave me now. And he fucking left, because...
Of course he would.
But his voice is fairly intimidating. All German and Austrian accents are fairly intimidating to start
On a
with.
side note, that was a better impression than I anticipated.
Yeah.
That was too bad.
I surprised myself, actually. That was pretty good. But, seeing him, he wasn't full angry, but you could tell he was extremely irritated, and he was intimidating as fuck.
Well, I imagine he gets a lot of people clamouring to get 2 seconds of his time. But for the bloke that wanted the photo or the autograph, he still got what he came for.
I got a moment, yeah.
He got a moment with Arnie. He's got a story to tell.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
Yeah, there you go. That's good enough.
When we were walking in the restaurant, though, and it was one of the higher-end Italian places on South Bank in the Crown Complex kind of thing. The one right under the Queensway Bridge, I think it is.
Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Can't remember. And anyway. Everyone's sort of, eating, drinking, talking, expensive wine, it's the sort of place where you pay $19 for a garlic bread. In he comes, and all you can see is the back of everyone's phone. Like, everyone, even, guys in suits, guys that are 70 years old, kids that are 12, have pulled out their phones, and they're just filming him walking through the fucking thing. He must never see people's faces.
Yeah,
just see the back of phones.
But at least they weren't turning their back to him to get a photo. Because that shit I just don't understand. Maybe I'm getting old.
That happens a lot.
But anyway, it was good. The photos and the video of the bloke doing the 1,000-pound deadlift or whatever it was. And Arnie's there just I'm in shot for this one, aren't I? Which seemed to be his job for the weekend, was just to get in shot many times as they could. But yeah, people got excited about it.
The funny thing was when the F1 got him over. He was at the Arnold Classic on the Friday and the Saturday, and then Sunday he sort of skipped out to go present the champion trophy to Lewis Hamilton. And they tried to hook it up like he was just in town for that.
Yeah.
And he managed to sink in a plug as well, but when your name's on the door,
the Arnold Classic.
Yeah, you
Like,
can-
I think like realestate.com.au had a fair bit to do with him getting over here as well, I think.
They threw a shit ton of money at it. They reckon it was about 10 million for his endorsement and
Yeah.
for
Jesus.
personal.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that might have been the reason for him coming out of Australia, and then the Arnold Classic was his other idea to make more money while he was here. That's my theory, anyway.
Oh, no, they
Nothing to back that up.
No, the Arnold Classic, they're trying to get one in every continent. So next year it's going to be Singapore, I think, as well as Australia, Madrid, Rio, and
Antarctica.
Omaha, whatever it is. Yeah, I said about Antarctica, and he said, "No, we're not going."
It's your funny cunt.
It reminds me, we're at the trivia night for work, and there's about 100 odd people in the room, and it was all sports questions. And one of the questions, the answer was Rocky 2. And of course, everyone's had a few skinfuls, and they're all doing their "Yo, Adrian!" And there's about, I don't know, 50 people doing their "Yo, Adrian" impersonations, yelling it out. And it's going on for about a minute. And I'm at the back, and I just go, everyone's going, "Yo, Adrian, yo, Adrian." And I went, "I'll be back." And then some people goes, "That's the wrong guy." I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's the wrong guy." Don't bother, man. Don't bother. Anyway, I thought tonight we'd just share some stories about when we go to sporting events and the stupid shit that you see in the stands and that kind of stuff, like the things you see when you go to dinner with Arnold Schwarzenegger and whatnot. But when I was thinking about that, it reminded me of the time when I was living in Sydney. I was a Sydney Swans member just because I wanted tickets to the footy. I couldn't be asked going to the NRL. And it was 1999, so it was a good time to do that because Plugger was getting close to the 1300. So I remember that the first week was against West Coast, and he was 9 goals short. So they thought, Plugger can kick 10 goals any week, just about, back in those days. And so there was always a buzz that he could kick 9 against West Coast. And so we were out in the members, and I remember after the first bounce, there's some guy about 5 rows back who started standing up and cheering for everything that West Coast did. And he's like, "Drew Bamfield, there he goes, the only guy who's going to kick 9 goals today." But he was just loud as anything and not swearing or anything like that, but he's kind of being funny. And because I'm not a Swans supporter and sitting amongst the Swans members and hearing this guy, I think he's hilarious. And everyone else is just kind of like, I wish I could get him in trouble, but he's not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think West Coast actually ended up winning, and Plugger only kicked, I think he hit 4 or 5 or something like that, but nowhere near the 9. And then it's like 5 minutes to go in the game, and he's like, "Great stuff, West Coast. Great stuff. I'm not a West Coast supporter. I'm just in it for my tips." That's all he cared about. Well, at this stage, everyone else is sour. But I've applauded him and go, "Yeah, good job. You've made your day worth it."
And especially if you knew all the players, and that's pre-Supercoach.
Yeah.
Like, there is no reason for him to know all those players' ins and outs and what they're doing.
But yeah, he had a good day.
Reminds me of when we went to Boa, and one of the jiu-jitsu fighters came in, and one bloke is like, "Yeah, just me, all right."
You're trying to start the clap and no one else joined in.
I kind of wanted to help him out, but by then it was
funny that you didn't.
Yeah.
So next week was the Collingwood game where he actually did kick he kicked it in the first quarter, but it was funny because I think the crowd was listed as 44,000 or something like that. But there were people literally sitting in the aisles. We couldn't move. So I reckon there's quite a few that jumped the fence that day. But I remember it because it was the City to Surf was on the same day, which is a 20-kilometre run.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought I'd go on that, which is an awesome idea. So my feet are killing me. But anyway, this is the biggest day in the Sydney Swans at the SCG ever, because he's going to break the AFL record, the first person to ever kick 1,300 goals. And I'm walking into the ground, and I see an old bloke in a suit walking towards me. I'm like, he looks familiar. And then as I got closer, I'm like, oh, fuck me, that's Ron Barassi. And it was Ron Barassi in a suit. And at the SCG, on the day that Tony Lockett's going to kick his 1,300th goal, I'm like, shit, that's Ron Barassi. What do I do? No, I'm never going to go say anything to him or anything like that. But then as I got closer, I noticed he was wearing a name tag that said Ron Barassi. I'm like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
If you are at the SCG today and you don't know who he is, turn around and go home. He doesn't need a name badge.
Yep.
But and then anyway, he kicked the 1300th in the first quarter, and everyone ran onto the ground and shit. And I couldn't be asked because what's the point? But then at the back of the aisles, they gave out these special cards where you can buy commemorative T-shirts.
Yep.
You know, like, these are exclusive. There's only,
Yeah.
Only if you were here you can get one.
Yep.
And then, so, I grabbed one of them and thought, this is important. And then I bought like 6 T-shirts. So kind of didn't really pan out the way they thought.
Yeah, I think they might have sold a few more than the people who were going through the doors.
Just through the doors, yeah.
But speaking of that, it actually reminds me of, I remember I had a friend, it was an American chick, and she actually worked at Cricket Australia on the front desk to administration.
Right.
And so they were like sort of the face of anyone coming to Cricket Australia. I think it was at the
First
MCG
of all,
as well.
Did she share any photos of Warnie?
Not that I saw.
Oh, I guarantee she's got some.
Could be a few on a hard drive somewhere.
Move on.
Yeah. And anyway, they didn't even know what cricket was really. And the thing is, they'd have Fox Sports showing in the waiting room for the reception or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was on the Major League Baseball. That's what they'd show because it was all Americans who worked in there. It was 2 Americans and that was it.
Wow.
And anyway, they did fuck all pretty much. Just watch baseball and do a bit of typing. But every now and then someone would come in. I forget who was the president of Cricket Australia at the time. It would have been a couple of years ago, I think.
James Sutherland or something.
Yeah, Sutherland, I think it was actually. Anyway, a bloke walks in. He's like, "Hello, is James here?" She's like, "Oh, no, actually, he's just gone out." She's like trying to watch the baseball around him.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll just take a message for you if you want. He's like, "Yeah, all right. Just tell him came in and I'll come back later." She's like, "All right, yeah." And who should I say it's from? Shane Warne.
It was Warnie.
Yeah, it was Warnie. She had no fucking idea who he was in Cricket Australia.
In the building. He's like,
Yeah, at MCG Cricket Australia.
how harsh you have to be? He's probably gone, who the fuck are you and how come
Probably
you
had to
fired?
walk past his statue to go to work every day.
That could be funnier. You're much fatter than your statue, Shane. Not anymore, but...
It always takes me back to when Michael Jordan, it was 20 years ago during the week actually,
I know, right.
where he announced his comeback.
Oh, yeah.
When he was coming back, I think it was in Luke Longley's book. He was sitting on the bench talking to, might have been even Steve Kerr or somebody. And they said, so when Michael comes back, does he start? He hasn't played for 2 years, but is he going to come off the bench?
Yeah.
And I think it was Kerr who said, I think it's a general rule that if your statue's out the front, you're not sitting on the bench. And yeah, he started.
Yeah, he's right, yeah.
I remember with that, though, with the comeback, his agent...
David Falk.
FAME or whatever it is.
Yep.
He sat down and wrote this whole thing about how, I'm delighted to come back. I've really missed the sport. I've got a passion back. I'm ready to go. And had this whole paragraph. And Jordan's like, yeah, not quite right. And then he's like, all right, I've written this other one. It's about, I'm looking forward to the future. I think we can have more success. I'm really, really excited. Yeah, and let me have a look at it. And he just wrote, I'm back. And that's it. And perfect.
You can guarantee there's journos all over America that have kept that fax because it was sent by fax.
Yeah.
Who have kept it and framed it, and they remember where they were that day that the I'm back fax came in. And...
I remember where I was. I remember I was travelling from Broken Hill to Adelaide on a bus for, I think it was a swimming trip or something. And in Borough, there was a little petrol stop. And the newspaper was there, and it was like, Jordan announces I'm back. And it's front page.
Yeah.
In the Borough Daily.
And I'm reading the paper, and the girl behind, are you going to buy that? I'm like, not fucking now, I'm not. But...
So no, I already read what I wanted to read.
I got to say, I think you got the idea. I mean, there's been more written about that 2-word fax than just about any other, I think.
And I mean, there's been more stolen from a Borough service station than a fucking paper too.
They started it though. I always remember like when you go through those little pissant towns, like Mad Magazine have a recommended and maximum retail price of $2.50 or whatever.
Yeah,
and they'd have it out for $5.
Yeah,
you're like, okay, so it doesn't really apply for you. I guess not many inspectors come through from Mad Magazine to Yunta.
You'd have like 3 busloads of basketballers rolling through there. It was like the Romans retreating with a scorched earth policy. It was like all of a sudden it was plentiful, and this basketball team would run through there, and all of a sudden it was barren. They would have made like $5, pockets are full walking out.
They didn't make $5. They took in $5.
Took in $5, yeah.
That was about it. So what else have we seen when you go into the footy and stuff like that? I do think like one thing, I've never seen a punch thrown or anything like that.
I have
excessive swearing.
Actually, one of the funniest / saddest ones was at a Port Adelaide game. Would have been just after they came in, I think.
So we're talking late 90s or something.
Yeah. I remember going there with a couple of Americans because just wanted to show them AFL and everything, and they were from New York, so they, people they didn't know, they'd call sir and ma'am and whatnot. And this bloke a few ahead of us, he was screaming at the umpires, calling him fucking cunts and this and that and the other. And he's got his own 2-year-old right next to him, and they had the metal seats, like the bench seats.
Yeah, the bench seats.
Yeah.
They didn't have individual seats at footy park in those days.
And he's banging on them, and they're clanging and everything, and he's really getting worked up. And every second word's a C-bomb, and he's swearing his ass off. And his girlfriend, partner, wife, cousin, I don't know, starts having a go at him about it, like, you're fucking swearing in front of our fucking daughter. Pot kettle black sort of situation. And he cracked her.
Oh,
damn.
He went in the crack. And, naturally, not really the sort of thing you do anywhere. So security was called, and then...
They gave her a free kick. It was all square.
All square, yeah.
No, she gave the cops a free kick. They both turned on the cops. So,
of course they did.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, little 2-year-olds just sitting there just like, oh, yeah, another Saturday. Fucking mum and dad losing their shit again.
Seen this before.
I know they say that to...
Mum doesn't know when to shut up.
I know they say that to stereotype about Port Adelaide supporters, but that actually happened about 3 rows ahead of us. And so the Americans are there just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Like, usually these people camp out in the car park. They have a barbecue.
No,
You don't let them in the fucking ground.
you can't help with people jumping the fence. It does... Oh, God, it's just gone. You're talking about stereotypes at the footy. I've only had my car damaged twice, and both times it was at the MCG at a Collingwood game. Somebody broke one of the mirrors off, which I didn't see what the point with that was, but never mind.
And they just like shiny things.
It could have been. It was
Ran
night time
into
too.
it.
I just wanted to rack up a line or something.
No, they weren't playing West Coast.
Must be just domestic violence stuff then.
And the other time we went with Dad, and they nicked the
spare
tyre off the back of the Pajero.
It's not like it was just, there's a spare tyre, I'll grab it. It was
bolted
padlocked
on.
on.
It's padlocked on.
So they've turned up with bolt cutters.
Oh, I know. They probably made a day out of it.
Well, they're only 3 wheels and a chassis away from a whole car.
And they've got that sitting on the front on blocks.
Yeah, they could very well have. But another thing I remember once, I was going to at a Collingwood game. It was Collingwood Geelong, I think. And again, had a couple of boys down from Sydney who hadn't been to the MCG before, so thought we'd do the right thing and show them where sport lives. We were gone to grab a drink and whatever at the concession stand during half time, and there's a poor little lad in front of me. He's gone through to buy his 3 Freddo frogs, and I think they were $2.20 each. Oh, that's a bit fucking rich.
Yeah.
But the poor lad's only got $6, so he's 60 cents short. And I've looked at him and he's gone, I have to put something back. He's got 2 mates sitting back there, just waiting for their Freddo frogs. So I said to the cashier, like, don't worry about it. I've got this covered. But I thought, how lucky is this kid? They're at a Geelong versus Collingwood game. He's wearing a Hawthorn Guernsey in front of the only other Hawthorn supporter in the ground. I thought, well, I've got to cover this one, don't I? I ought to do me a good deed. I even said to him, good luck to the Hawks, mate. I might have been wearing a Hawks jacket, actually. So, yeah, it's just good luck.
It's funny you talk about the G, because anyone who has been to Australia ever should see the MCG AFL match at some stage in their life. Like, even if you're not a football fan,
It's
you're
an
not really a
experience.
sports fan, 100,000 crowd at the MCG is something everyone needs to feel, and it's a visceral thing.
I don't give a shit about art, but if I'm going to Paris, I'm going to the Louvre.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's many sports like it in the world that can have that capacity. I mean, there's High League Soccer, they have the 100,000 crowds, and High League NFL. I don't think anything else has...
Not even sure if there's that many NFL that have 100,000. I'm not sure. There might be some college grounds, but
Yeah, I think there's some college ones, that's about it.
Yeah.
But they have some really weird shaped stadiums as well, where they don't really make the most of capacity. I don't know.
Yeah.
I understand the design, but...
The thing is, I remember taking, like my mate Austin, he's been to plenty of AFL games, but never at the G.
Yeah.
And so when he came down, it's a Friday night, we're walking from the city over the bridge to the MCG, and the lights are on.
With
and
everyone
there's
else.
Just that anticipation. Like, you start out from the hotel, and then, cross the road, and then there's more people getting.
Yeah.
And then you form a bigger group, and then there's big lines, and then there's people shouting footy record, and it just builds up and up, and until you see the lights, and then you'd get there and just like, wow, this is fucking...
And I like when you walk around the outside and you'll just catch a little slither in between the stands that will show like the ground, and like you'll see the real Colosseum style interior of it, where it's just, all right, this is just gladiators on a field and everyone's just watching, a whole 100,000 of them, and it's just like, whoa.
And that build up as more and more people enter, and the hubbub increases, and then that siren goes for the first bounce, and 100,000 people just yelling, yes, they're excited, they're pumped up, and there's just nothing like it that I've ever experienced.
It's also good because I'm always a fan, like, I've got to see the first bounce.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we always get there early, and you look around and you go, oh yeah, it's not that full yet, and then you look down or whatever, you look up, and the teams are running out, and you look up again, and all of a sudden it's full.
Yeah.
Especially round one, that kind of stuff.
Because you can always tell by when you look at the back of the stands and you see all the heads going past, little beams of light coming in from the gates.
Yep.
And it's the constant of the heads going past at what speed, and you can tell how many people are just waiting for to get closer. Because especially a lot of people will stay in the bars like down the back for a while before the game starts.
Yeah, there's no point sitting
have a beer. And that's the thing, especially when you live in Melbourne and you can go there every week. It's not so much of an event as I'm getting there straight away and getting straight to my seat. I'm going to watch everything.
Yeah.
Watch little kids kick the dust off
the dew off.
Yeah.
But it is just something special, especially a night game where you can see it off in the distance.
Yeah.
But I know we've all taken pommies to the game and stuff like that, and they can't understand how the two opposition supporters can walk to the ground side by side and sit side by side
and not stab each other.
Yeah, dude, it's just what we do. This is quite normal. They just couldn't get their minds around it. They're used to being segregated.
But I would hate if that ever changed.
No, it can't happen. Like they'll play to empty stands before that happens.
Yeah, we don't have a big enough population, I think.
Yeah, but you hear about it every year now. Like there's somebody that gets kicked out and they get dobbed in by their own supporters standing around them. Like, no, this one right here, fuck him off.
Yeah.
So it's crowd control. The crowd is controlling itself, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and it must be funny for people that go to European League soccer and everything. They're like, oh yeah, no, this bloke in the crowd's in trouble. What did he do? Stab someone? No, some racist comment. Racist comment? That's all?
They're throwing bananas on the ground. Remember that dude who picked it up and ate it while he took the corner?
Oh, that's right, yeah. Oh, fuck, who was that?
I wouldn't have a clue. Even you said his name, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it, though.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah. I think, the worst thing that I've ever heard in the crowd was at a Richmond game. Can't remember who they were playing, but there was
they were bagging their own team
club.
No, you were there. Yeah. Remember the family that was behind us? And it was the first time I've ever felt like moving seats, and they were just, Mom!
Oh, yeah. I was there for that one.
That's
right.
You remember that one?
Yep.
And you're making it sound like this kid's 4. He was at least 22. Mom! Where's the fucking snacks, Mom?
But I remember Mum, she was the one that was into it the most.
Yeah.
She's like, guys, all right, I'm going to make a big prediction here. I'm going to make a big prediction. You ready? Dustin Martin's going to be our best player soon.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Fucking way to step on a ledge, bitch.
Jeez, I'm like, oof, you're going out on a limb there.
Yeah.
In fairness, if she was out on a limb, the fucking thing would have snapped. She was a hefty woman. Looked like she was no stranger to the KFC drive-thru, even if she was on foot.
Again, stereotypes are a horrible thing, but when somebody lives up to the stereotype, it just sits really well.
And I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. So stereotypes are generally...
There's a reason stereotypes exist.
So I hope she doesn't smoke. Her greasy hair would have set on fire.
But again, I don't really remember them swearing that much. But god damn, their voice is grating. And that's the worst I've seen.
The thing is, they generally only swear at their own players. Like, it was the other team, they're like, those bastards, or whatever. But they really reserve the real spiteful shit for their own players when they fuck up.
Yeah, and I think they did that day.
Yep,
I'm trying to remember who they were playing, but yeah, I remember looking and going, wicked move. I've never left my seat early.
Yeah.
But I could go watch this game on TV, I think.
They usually call the third quarter the premiership quarter, but in Richmond it's the roast quarter. Because if they're down, they just turn on their own fucking team and give them hell.
Yeah, why not? You paid your money. You're allowed to boo or do whatever you like.
Well, you assume they paid the money.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah, it could happen. It was, going way back to my time in Sydney, it was a very funny crowd then, because it was I won't say they weren't knowledgeable, but there was a few times where you'd have to explain the rules to the people, to the members around you. But it did have that hipster vibe. It's like, we don't go for that thugs game, that NRL game. We're too good for that.
Yeah.
But it did seem like a lot of them were there because they wanted to be known that they were going to an AFL game instead of it was a funny old vibe.
They couldn't fuck the rugby chicks, so sort of hell that we'll make our own little niche market.
Actually, there was quite a few chicks in the crowd, but it's a weird vibe. It's very different.
Yeah, that's sort of the one where they're like, go 22, you're doing really well, 22.
Yeah, there's a few of those. I don't know what your name is, but you're shit. Funny old time. I remember my uncle who did the same thing, but was a Bulldogs supporter, but got Swans membership just to get the tickets to go to all the games. But he was going with one of his mates. I think he was a goal umpire or a boundary umpire or something as well.
Yeah.
So he's going with one of his mates. They both got memberships next to each other, and go to the Swans every home game.
Yep.
Anyway, the Swans are playing the Bulldogs in round 15 or whatever. Right. And his mate never knew that he was a Bulldog supporter. Because, with your membership pack, you get a scarf or a hat or whatever. Yeah. So he wears it to every game, sitting the members, go Swans, there's only one platoon, rock it. Anyway, so the game comes up against the Bulldogs, and he's just wearing a jacket. He's not wearing his hat. And the Bulldogs are getting up, and his mate turns, it's the fourth quarter, and the game's, sealed. And his mate turns to him and goes, it just wasn't our night. The guy goes, hey, was her? Opens his jacket up. He's got his Bulldog shirt on. He said that his jaw dropped. He couldn't believe it.
It's like betrayal.
It's like seeing his wife cheat on him.
This is like a Shakespearean tragedy or something.
Yeah, it's like you found out his wife just cheated on him. Which I think he actually did find out about 3 months earlier. So, something to compare it to.
It's like soften the blow for him, really.
Yeah. I can't remember what year it was, but it was the year that Montgomery took Mark of the Year on the wing. So, if you look that up, you can find out what year it was, but I couldn't be asked.
That's kind of a funny situation, though, because everyone understands it's never okay to change teams.
No, you can't.
But if you're living in a different city, especially like a Sydney and Adelaide or whatever, you don't go for the local team, it's okay to have a second team that is a local team if that's all the footy can
just
see.
To get tickets. Well, like I said, I was a Swans member, but I was a Hawthorn member at the same time. And I got nothing, like no games out of the Hawthorn membership. It was just, just a member just to justify to myself, I think, that I could buy a Swans membership. Because I couldn't have a Swans one and not have a Hawthorn one.
But imagine now, right? Because there's at least 2 teams in every major city, or the major AFL cities.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of funny if one of those teams started chasing those sort of supporters.
Okay, so you're not one of our supporters, but you want to watch AFL come to the game?
Yeah, membership.
It'll be difficult. I know there's a lot of those kind of memberships in Melbourne.
But Melbourne's got more teams.
No, I mean like the Adelaide Crows have a Melbourne membership.
Yeah,
where you can get access to any games that Adelaide play in MCG or Etihad. And I imagine all the interstate teams have those kind of memberships because people in Melbourne are sick for sport. They'll go to anything.
And the key is you just have to hold the banner, and that's it.
Yeah. But you say going back to the MCG, how different and experienced it is. I don't think I've ever been to a game there where I didn't find somebody in a Hawthorn Guernsey
and a Richmond Guernsey. There's always a Richmond supporter.
But I used to play that game when you go to try and spot the Hawthorn supporter because it's obviously my team. But it didn't matter who was playing. It'd take you 5 minutes to go, yep, there's one. Got him. I'm done for the day.
Yeah, he's the one at the TAB.
But, besides myself, I guess, because I'm the same thing. I'm going to games that my team's not playing.
I'm not wearing my Guernsey going, yeah, fucking Hawthorn.
Hey. You might try it. Not a Collingwood one, though.
I'm just trying to wear complete different sports. Just the real fucking standout.
Yeah, I reckon I see a lot of Lakers and Miami Heat.
Yeah, depending which teams go to.
I guess,
which games go to.
Go sport.
Yeah.
It's just the way they do it.
It'd be funny if you wore something super obscure. Like, the Southern Uzbekistani, I don't know, goat polo or something.
No, but improv is going well. something so obscure you couldn't even make
Exactly.
it up.
Thing is, I had a few to throw in there, but like, nah, leave him hanging.
I want to see him drown.
I want to see where this goes.
I thought the Southern Uzbekistani goat pole was pretty good on the fly.
It would have been for the first crack at it, but
I don't know if you could say that was on the fly.
Yeah.
There was definitely, it was more skipping stones.
Yeah.
But you got there.
Speech impediment or something.
Yeah, you go back to fall back on your Arnie impersonation just in case. Yeah. So, what else can you think about that's ever happened at the footy? I think I've seen plenty of people in the crowd get booed if they try and take the little footies off the kids. At the end of the game.
You are an absolute prick of a man. Like I think I was at the NBL once, and they throw out the little mini basketballs.
So that was you there, was it?
Yeah. And I've taken an absolute blinder and grabbed one. I'm like, fucking beautiful. And there's a little kid about 2 seats down from me, just looking up, just like, oh, and I'm like, fuck,
Well,
here you go.
What can you do?
I mean,
You don't have a choice.
You have to be a hard-hearted motherfucker
so
not
I
to.
took the kid home with me.
Fucking wanted that footy.
What does he want from me?
It's one Anzac Day. We were at the pub that was playing 2-up, and it was massive the amount of people who were out the back. And they organised at this pub the Grey Stains Inn or something in Grey Stains in Western Sydney.
Grey stains.
Yeah, something like that.
Shirt and collar to get in.
I'm trying to remember because I think this pub was actually listed as a meeting room in our Outlook at work. And my mate Billy, who loves a bet, loves a gamble. We're all playing 2-up out the back, and this. If he was 10 years old, I'd be surprised. This kid goes, 10 heads, and Billy looks at him and goes, "Oh, I can't do it. I just can't do it." Look at him. You can see his moral compass is just going spinning and spinning and spinning, and he decided he couldn't do it. So anyway, some other bloke who had a few cans decided, all right, I'll take the kid on. And, the kid was on heads and it came up tails. And I'm like, I'm going to boo you so hard. Because, you got to take the money off him. He's got to learn a lesson. But he was getting absolutely booed. I thought, champ, this is a no-win situation for you.
You got to learn a lesson too for making bets with fucking little kids.
I'm sure his dad was there somewhere, but I didn't see him.
Dad's the pokies.
Could very well have been.
His dad giving blowjobs in the car park. Must all his money playing 2-up.
He'd already done 5 and he just blown that in one bet. So I'm assuming that was the price.
Say he was getting fucked either way.
Well, yeah, that can happen.
But the other thing I find funny in the footy, especially these days, is that everyone hates the dude who just yells out shit.
Yeah.
Just yells out, kick it to so-and-so. But I found these days, everyone's conscious of that. And so the people that yell out will try and be sort of a little bit more intellectual in what they'll say, as if it's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
So the player's going to listen to it. And they'll try and make a proper terminology, or you're not going with the flow of the play. What you need to do is back behind, push forward, and look out for your teammates.
See, I think what you got to do is check to see if they've got headphones in.
Yeah.
They're listening to SEN or something, and they're just spouting it out. That's their highlight for the week. They're sitting there, right. Oh, this is good one. Yep.
Write that down. I'll ring back after 5 o'clock. This is Stephen from Ivanhoe. Gives good me, Steve. Yeah, long time listener, first time caller, mate.
Yeah.
Was at the game on weekend. Fucking Bombers, tell you what. Need to run around the back, look around the teammates, and push forward with the flow.
It's like, that's great, mate, but you were at the cricket today.
Yeah. Next, we've got Marge from Eltham.
Have you ever listened to Finey's final siren when you're going home, trying to get out of the MCG car park? I swear, I don't know why he answers those calls sometimes.
I'm usually busy laughing at the driver and coming out of the car park from the CG.
Yeah. I'm usually just sitting there and waiting for somebody to let me in. I've got the wrong stickers on. God, yeah, there's some people that just, you wonder why they've got so much time.
You wonder how they can afford fucking phones. Actually, it's funny when you're trying to get out of the G, just because it's almost like you need that James Bond rotating license plate, except instead of the license plate, you rotate the team flag.
Yep.
So you see a bloke up ahead with a Saints sticker on, so press a button, you get the Saints colours and little dun 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 dun
And
coming
they're
on.
like, oh, mate, I'll let you in. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, and then further up ahead, you see a bloke from Collingwood, and you're just like, yeah, no, fuck it, I'll wait. I don't have that button on my car.
And you see one, usually it's old Ford Laser full of all the lads, and they're trying to figure out if the cops are on Hodel Street or if they're on Swan Street doing laps on the car park. Oh shit, they've covered everywhere. We're fucked.
I'm going to say, I've never seen the cops stop anybody coming out of the MCG, though. They're just like, mate, let's just get them out of here.
Yeah.
They can
Get
fuck
the
off.
fuck out of here.
I'm not dealing with
We've
this
blocked
shit.
off. We've got a whole road you can stagger off down to Swan Street. Go down the corner, have a beer or something.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever...
Go to the Cricket Arms, see some saggy old titties.
There's a place you stay away from.
I remember I went down with the cricket and I was throwing a jug around for some chick to get a kid off. And honestly, everyone was giving the money saying, just keep him on.
Keep it on.
Yeah.
We
So
don't want to see
the
this.
the lunch break's almost over. We're getting the fuck out of here as soon as this thing starts.
No, I went there once after the footy, just to grab a beer kind of thing with a couple of mates, and yeah, we left. It's not pretty.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
But I'll tell you what, the real estate there would be worth a mint.
Oh, it'd be worth plenty. They're probably giving wristies at the back. That's where they're making all the money. I mean, so they were running a breastfeeding clinic. There was saggy old titties. They've been through about 10 kids each. Breastfed them till they're 5.
Well, that'll do it. You've got to put them to work.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just glassies.
They can get them there. I was just thinking, I don't think I've ever been to a game where there's been a pitch invasion or a streak or anything like that.
Really?
I've been to a few games, like even cricket, and I can't remember anybody running onto the pitch.
I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple of security guys fumble the fucking thing. They take off after the pitch invader or whatever and just fall on their ass. And then you see some that just, they've been waiting for this to happen. Yeah. And they just fucking floor them.
I'd love to talk to somebody that's jumped onto the field and ask why.
I was going to say, I've got at least 3 of my mates have done it. So,
Yeah, really?
yeah. One got away too. It was when they were doing the reconstruction of the Adelaide Oval.
Right.
They're doing the, whatever, the Chapel Stand or whatever the fuck it was. I think it was during one of the 2020 matches. When we were doing the Big Bash. Anyway, they had a gutful and one of them just happened to be really athletic and he managed to get away through the construction area.
I'd love to ask, like,
Chuck his kid on and got back in the ground.
the 5 minutes before, what was going through his head? He thought, I can do this.
Vodka shots, I
Nothing
imagine.
to do with streaking at all. It was just they were hammered and someone's going, "Oi, someone should streak." And there's always someone who's, "Fucking oath, I'm up for
Yeah,
that.
I'm up."
That's my day has come. Here it is.
Because you look at the downside. The downside is $7,000.
Lifetime ban. I
Lifetime
think.
ban. Plus, you're probably not going to go out on the piss that night.
Yeah.
The upside is what? You got a story to tell.
Yeah. The
It's a
upside is
big
just
risk.
that little bit of
Yeah, but
notoriety.
You're really going to have that story out at every occasion? It's like, it's my son's 18th birthday, but they took their time on Nards were on television for the 2020 match.
To be honest, if it was one of my mates, I would probably, in my eyes, they'd be up that little bit of step. They'd be a little bit higher in my regard.
So, do you think of them a little bit higher, the ones that did jump across?
Yeah, because of that. Yeah, fucking oath. That's a good effort.
So you said one got away. What are the other 2?
No, one got flattened.
Yeah.
He got fucked up. he got a fine, got the whole lot. He wasn't as athletic.
He got the fine.
He got the fine, he got everything.
And
Got the
the
court
ban?
date. Yep,
A
got the
court
ban.
date?
Yeah, he got to go to court.
How do they? I want to know, how do they ban it? Like, do they just have their photos up at everywhere? Or?
Oh, yeah, it's completely, you can't police it.
Yeah.
They can go back in where the fuck they want. There's nothing
Yeah.
to do about it. Yeah. So they've been back in, yeah. There's, what are they going to do? Just don't do it again, more or less.
Who was that serial pest from Adelaide? Peter, someone I want to
Yeah,
say.
it started
that's
with H. Holsworth or something.
Yeah, really irritating fat bastard whitehead. Peter Hellier, that's it.
What?
No, there was the hippie guy that invaded the
Soccer and tennis and
Melbourne
fucking
Cup.
everything.
I think he even invaded, what's his name, Tommy Smith's funeral, the horse trainer.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, funerals, just stay
Yeah,
away.
he's
Leave
not
that to
fucking-
the West Baptist
Yeah.
Church. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Peter something.
Peter Hitchener.
Yeah, he kept getting banned but kept turning up to places.
Actually, I think I saw Peter Hitchener followed us on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know if like that's our.
Yeah, no,
we
he's-
really.
Us and 40,000 others that he
He's
follows.
still-
Yeah, I thought we wouldn't really be his sense of humour, but then I was thinking maybe he's a bad motherfucker when he's off camera. Or maybe gets
Maybe
home,
straight up G.
fucking knows, takes that tie off, does a big fat line of Charlie, settles down on the couch in his underwear with a bottle of bourbon or something, watches House of Cards,
Do you reckon
Unwinds.
Ron Burgundy was sort of modelled after him?
or he just cooks dinner and has a glass of wine.
No, let's keep going with this
I'm
idea.
running with that big Y fronts, big
Did he-
deep set couch.
He gets home, pats his Irish
Tiger.
Mastiff.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know if there is a such thing as an Irish Mastiff, but
I don't know.
it's
But
a
Mastiff just sounds like something he'd have.
Yeah, and he's got 4 of them that guard the house, and he scrapes the worst of the invaders off the porch, and
So just a quick break to announce an endorsement. Google, I'm endorsing that because I put in serial pest
Yep.
and it comes straight up with Peter Hoare.
Peter Hall.
That's the motherfucker.
It knew his name straight away. So anyway,
There you go.
let's see. I'm checking his Wikipedia page to see what he's invaded on, because I know he's done the Grand Prix. Peter Michael Howard.
I remember seeing on one of the recent episodes of 30 for 30. It was actually a pretty shit episode, but had this one part about streaking.
Yeah.
And there was that one English lad who used to get sponsored by Golden Palace and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was streaking everywhere, and then I remember some like Nike or somebody did an ad where all the players were naked, and he ran onto the field fully clothed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the guy.
Because he was saying like he was pretty old when he first did it, and he was just hammered at a pub, and someone did a streak, and they're all talking about it. Like I just said, like they held him in a bit of high regard, and he was like, "Oh, anyone can do that," and he's going to like FA Cup final or something like that the next day, and he said that he woke up to a knock on the door at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., whatever it was, and they were there going, "Mate, you've told everyone you're going to streak today," and he's like, "Oh fuck, what have I done?" And so he's like, "Well, I've got to do it," and apparently just the adrenaline was his drug, so he's like streaking everything. But they were showing when he streaked the tennis. He'd done like the Super Bowl. He walked out and did a dance, just to know about to the kickoff.
I do like how he's made a big call, but he's like, "Nah, I'm going to follow this through."
Yeah,
Because
that's it.
every bloke has done that drunken big call and gone, "Yeah, no, I'm not totally."
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you sound like you were recalling a big call that you've made or something.
No, I just think of a lot of funny ones. So if I could recall them, then nothing that I did. But
Like little Benny DeVal's ordering a steak on New Year's Day. We come back from a New Year's celebration, and little Benny would be 55 kilos soaking wet kind of thing. We turn up to a 24-hour restaurant, and Benny orders the steak, and it's a big fucking steak, and we're kind of like, "You sure you're gonna eat it?" He's like, "I want a steak, 2 of them." And like, "What, really?" Yeah.
Well,
And he did. He ordered 2 steaks.
In for a penny.
And he got nowhere near finishing him, but he decided that's what he wanted to do, and that's what he ordered and what he had a crack at. I think he fell asleep in the second one, but he had to go.
that was the other thing I want to talk about with the Carmichael Hunt deal.
Yes,
What
Carmichael
happened?
Hunt.
Now, I've been doing the maths, so there's something about this story that didn't quite add up.
All right.
I'm pretty sure Carmichael Hunt got fucking stiffed in this deal.
Right.
I'm pretty certain of it. I was reading the
How
news.
so?
They were saying that he's been accused of possessing or intending to possess, or whatever the fuck it was, of 12.5 grams of cocaine.
Okay.
And I said it was on 4 separate occasions.
So what you got? Is that cumulative?
Well, that's what I'm not sure. But
Right.
either way, you can work. It doesn't matter which way you cut it up. He's being gypped because there's no way you order 12.5 grams of anything. If you're ordering that much coke, you're probably getting in derivatives of an ounce.
Right.
So, from what I can gather, is that the closest he would have got would have been half an ounce, which I think is about 14.2 grams.
Right.
And the
What
police...
fucking website are you getting this information from?
I'm getting it from Johnny down in Springvale. Out the front of Fur'an between 12 and 9 a.m.
All right. I've got a units
You're the units converter.
converter here somewhere.
So I think a half ounce is about 14.2 grams. So you can assume there's no one going, "Man, got a month off. I'm going to need 12.5 grams of Charlie."
Well, maybe you've got 14
Like,
and only used a gram and a half before he got
12.
caught.
No, but he didn't get caught with it. They just said that's what alleged that you ended up with, not that that's what you bought. So I'm assuming he took it all. We wouldn't have,
Well, maybe
flushed them down the toilet for no reason.
maybe the courier had a 5% tax.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Somewhere along the line, he's been getting gypped.
What was it? 12.5.
12.5.
So if it's 14 grams as the standard or whatever,
Yeah.
12.5.
12.5 is a 0.4 of a gram of an ounce.
Yeah, what's
Yes.
half an ounce?
What's half an ounce?
Half an ounce, yeah.
I can't figure this stupid thing out. All right. There we go. Grams 0.5. Delete.
Fucking
delete,
exciting podcast so far.
0.5 is. Oh, sorry. I'll get there.
I'm going to say 14.26,
Don't
Why
do
does
drugs,
it
kids.
keep-
unless it's cocaine. In which case, don't get ripped off. Know your conversions.
Well,
They said maths will never pay off.
yeah. Okay, this isn't working
Why does the drug world use the imperial system anyway? It seems weird.
because it's more accurate.
Because it all comes from America. It's all coming from Mexico and whatever. It's not like you're buying Charlie from
All right.
Where else they make
14.17 grams. Like you said, that's half an ounce.
So that's half an ounce. So they're saying
he's
bought
rocking up with 12.5.
12.5. So he's getting ripped off somewhere on the line. So I bet you he's paying for half an ounce and he's only getting 12.5. So there's some leakage along the line.
So the bit of a light thing is when...
I know what's going on.
Well, I mean, if Carmichael Hunt's getting ripped off, what fucking hope is there for the rest of us, to be honest?
For the rest of us that are buying 12.5 grams
We
of
don't
cocaine.
want something extra. We just want what we're paying for. That's it.
They should get the police involved.
That's what I reckon. I reckon the police were involved. That's why it's all gone fucking pear-shaped.
So either he's been found... they caught him with 14.1 grams, and they've skimmed it a little bit off the top.
And they've gone, hey, Robbo's got a party this weekend.
You're both fucking idiots. It's a 10% GST.
Yeah.
That's right.
10%.
Yeah.
So does Charlie count as a goods or a service?
It's a good, but see, the dealer will be able to get a tax back later because he have to pay GST on the wholesale price initially, but then you get it back on the difference in what he retailed it for.
Well, I guess he gets some of his tax back when he's serving time.
Well, yeah, and, you've got to put that money away, and
He does. Yeah, I think he qualifies for the Medicare free levy as well. So.
Even if you're self-medicating.
Yeah.
Still,
You're doing your part.
Yeah, there is another option that maybe he was given the whole half an ounce and he just got a few lines in before he got picked up.
Well, that's true. And the other thing I was thinking of, I wonder, now I'm not smart enough to, or couldn't be fucked finding the shit out, but I wonder if there is some difference legally between having over 14 grams or under 14 grams, if there's a threshold between what your penalty will be.
Or whether it's possession or distribution.
Trafficking or whatever.
Or intention to distribute, intention to traffic. So I wonder if that's the threshold where they say, well, I mean, we want to nail into the wall, but we don't want to look out like we're huge cunts. So we'll allege it's 12.5.
Or maybe it's like, when you get caught speeding, you've done 65.
Yeah.
They say, detected speed 70, but we'll charge you with 65 or whatever it is.
Except they can't snort 5 kilometres an hour.
Give it a go.
He's a highly trained athlete. He probably could. He could probably do 65 miles an hour after he's finished snorting it.
The old Benny Cousins getaway.
Go jump in a river. Yep.
I think you get caught in the no-go zone between the fucking army barracks or some shit.
Actually, you know how...
He was... I
remember those ads.
Like, I'm on a fucking mission here. We got 2 Charlies over the hill.
How much do those Charlies weigh? That was the problem.
You need to eliminate them. He's like, I've fucking been destroying Charlies since I was a fucking teenager. Annihilating Charlies. There's some stories, well, from when I was working in the casino about people finding Michael Kaninsky's coke all over the place.
Who's Michael Kaninsky?
I think it's Michael. Not
Gadinsky.
Yeah.
Mushroom Records or whatever it was.
Yeah. But I think I'll save that for our gambling stories.
Yeah.
That'll fit into that little...
Yeah, we decided we're going to do a podcast on gambling stories, and we're going to get one of my other friends who loves a punt in on that one.
Plus poker player. And
yeah, so
spend a fair bit of time with the felt.
Back to the drug thing. You know how meth heads always have terrible teeth?
Yeah.
Do you reckon dentists are just getting that shit out everywhere? Trying to get young hipsters hooked on it and go, I'm going to make a fucking mint here.
I think they do get terrible teeth, but the fact that you see them with terrible teeth probably means that they're not then, making the smart decision to go see an orthodontist.
See, that could be Breaking Bad Part 3.
Orthodontist?
They're like, no, I'll do it after this. I just got to dig a garden and a moat and then build a bridge over it and then put some dragons in the forest and then I'll come back and then I'll get my fucking teeth sorted out.
There's some dentist out there going, that's a good fucking idea. I'm
like, you're fucking on something here, cunt.
There is. I think the dentist's the one on the meth in the first place.
Well, he makes the money on the meth and he makes the money on the fucking dental work.
He's not really a dentist. He's out the front on his fucking old used couch. Like, I'm a fucking dentist. Can't do with the fucking teeth clean.
If we hear that Ben Cousins gets clean and then starts a dentistry...
Oh, Benny, do it, mate. Get on there. I've seen some of the people that did dentistry. I reckon he'd fit right in. Can you imagine him around that amount of drugs, though?
Seen it. Fucking, tell you what, Brownlow medal performance. Sorry.
Pretty sure we have seen Benny around that amount of drugs. I think he made a documentary showing people of him around that amount of drugs.
Jeez, can you imagine turning up, Dr. B. Cousins, DDS, or whatever they fucking put up for their name. You turn up and there he is with the laughing gas on himself, and he's like, "I'll be right in a minute, cunt."
So you can't tell if he's taking notes or writing prescriptions.
So yeah, actually his handwriting's fit in there.
It would be kind of funny. Yeah, here's some painkillers for you. And while you're there, can you get this stuff for me?
Yeah.
Put it in order. Just write out whatever you want and just add whatever you need. It's all good. Just say it's for me. They'll know.
You know my signature.
Just BC10 or whatever. 9.
Yeah, 9 at West Coast, 32 at Richmond. I don't know why I remember that. I think we can talk about the mystery AFL Theatre 2.014K episodes we did.
Yeah.
Because we got through 9 teams. We got 9 to go. But the season starts in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I think we'll park that idea. We might just do some reviews, team reviews for the remaining 9 teams because it's just fucking 2 hours.
Yep. I don't know if I was just really drunk, but I started writing notes. I was watching footy.
Yep.
And random one says, "Is this the year that Ballantyne gets a tan? If not, can we confirm that he's a vampire?"
Wow, you were fucking drunk.
He's been out in the west and sunny Perth for however long, man. He's the whitest motherfucker on the planet.
Does look like a young... Is it Eddie Munster?
Yeah.
That's probably what you're thinking of, yeah.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't know how he can, like...
Well, Carl Langdon was out there for fucking century.
Yeah, but he's got a condition.
What?
Being a ranger.
Yeah. He qualifies. That's when you get too much sun that goes from red to that blonde. That's what they call a strawberry blonde.
I think he might have dyed it back in the day, back in the surfing West Coast days. But
and that's not a tan. That's just one freckle that's joined up with the rest of them and made a tan.
Yeah. So you reckon Ballantyne could be a vampire? Oh, I tell you what, I've got no evidence against it.
Well, at some point I did, yeah. So I wrote it down.
It is kind of funny, actually. Every team's got their freak. That one player where the rest of the team just goes, he's a fucking loose cannon, this guy. Who would you say, like Dustin Martin for Richmond?
Yep.
He's the one where you just... If you hear Richmond player has done stupid shit, you're just like, fucking Dusty. What have you done today?
Who are they going to blame it on this time? Fuck. We're running out of fall guys.
Who would you say it is for Hawthorn?
Well, Brian Lake's the weird one.
Yeah, that's true.
He's just marches to the beat of a different drummer. But yeah, I mean, on the weird side or the psycho side, we haven't really got the psychos anymore. I mean, Campbell Brown used to be a good one for a story.
Yeah. He's got more psycho after he left. Just as in regards to his dumb shit on the field.
Well, he used to belt Essendon players when he played for us, and then when he went to the Gold Coast, he belted his own players.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Yeah, it's good to see he matured. Well, who's it in North?
Probably a couple. I mean, Grimer's a weird motherfucker, but
he's hilarious. Grimer.
He is. He does give a shit.
He's great when he's on the radio.
It's funny how some people have a media persona and they sort of, 1 week at a time, they were a good team, they got better on the day, or we managed to get a bit lucky or whatever. He just tells it like he feels. He's like, fuck, I was shit.
He's good. There's not many like that. Like Nick Maxwell's another good one, although he's not playing anymore. But yeah, Grimer's always good. It's good when they, go outside the media training and just talk like a person.
Yeah. The other one's probably Brent Harvey, because he's approaching 400 games now. He's like, I can do what the fuck I want. It'd be kind of funny to be either him or Dustin Fletcher, just running around, and anyone tells you to do anything. Like even people on the boundary, you'd be kind of like, bloke, I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. Have you chill the fuck out? Let me play my game. Because what do you tell a bloke that's played 400 games? He's in the peerage of him, Michael Tuck, and fucking
Kevin
Bartlett. There's nothing you can tell him he hasn't heard already. He's had over 400 pre-game speeches.
Things he hasn't heard already. Brent, I think you're too tall for this ride. I don't think he's heard that before. Gee, Brent, you were generous with your money on that. I've heard he's a little bit... he likes it where it is, the money.
Well, that's the funny thing. He wouldn't be short of $1, but he wouldn't be... he does have a reputation for not handing them out willy-nilly.
I will tell you one. I was working at Coles, and we had an AFL sponsorship going on, and it was Ian McLeod was the boss of Coles at the time, and he was a board member at St Kilda.
Yeah, I'm
not sure if he still is, but he was at the time. So the week of the grand final, St Kilda are playing in the grand final, so he's all up and about. We had a massive meeting at Coles head office, which is about 3,000 people, and they had about 10 AFL players, current and former, there for the day. And Billy Brownless was there in a skin tight suit for fucking knows whatever reason. And Richo was there signing autographs, and Brent Harvey, and a dozen other players that I can't remember. And then after they've done Billy's handball competition, so somebody can win a hamper
from Coles.
Yeah. Ian McLeod does the monthly financials and everything. Where this much dollars up on store, and slowly one by one you see the AFL players like, I've got somewhere to be. And they sneak off because they're sitting in the crowd now.
Yeah.
And I reckon, this financial talk goes for nearly an hour, and Brent Harvey didn't move. He's sitting there. He looked like he was hanging on to every word. He wasn't being polite, but I'm looking at him going, either you are one of the most polite motherfuckers there is, or you've got a lot of West Farmers stock, and you are making sure now. And I reckon it was...
There's a chance for some insider trading here.
I reckon that's exactly what it was. He was looking after every dollar he had.
Or he's like, you know what? I could probably have my own supermarket. I'm going to have that crack.
He could not, because he couldn't reach the third shelf. How's he going to do Nightfield?
Everything's going to be tiny.
The midget store.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Are you sick of losing your partner in the supermarket? You can just stare right across the top of the aisles.
He'll only have those kids' trolleys. The ones with the flag.
It'd be funny as hell. You get in there, it's Minimart. You go in, holy fuck.
You got to duck there. They only sell fun-size Mars bars. No regular size ones.
It's like, is it being John Malkovich where they've got the 13th and a half floor where it's all... You got to duck down.
Yep, that'll be Brent Harvey's little mini-mart. I'll tell you what, if he comes out once he retires with that, I'm going to take credit.
Credit? I'm going to take 10%. I don't know how I'm going to get it past him.
I got to say, good luck with that. Yeah. All right, we'll call that episode 13.
Yep.
We're done. All right,
Cool.
see you later.
Thanks,
All right, bye.